Hey there, crew. How's everybody doing today? Matt here with the Rhinestone World. Can everybody hear me? All right, awesome. How's everybody doing today? Very cool, very cool. Well, glad to be back on here with all of you. I know Rudy's done a couple of the last webinars and done a great job, and wanted to get something. I know Valentine's Day is right around the corner, a couple days away, so I wanted to actually do something a little bit different with this one and do something for St. Patty's Day. So we just knocked out a couple quick little St. Patty's Day designs, something different, but something with a little bit of humor, and we can create pretty easy with just a font and a basic JPEG image. So what I'm going to do in this webinar today is obviously the two designs that you'll see here. You'll get both of the designs free on the website, so they're actually listed for the 2-pack is $10 on the website. All of you that come hang out with me here and learn how to do and create the designs, we're going to give them to you for free. So we'll basically give you a $10 coupon code at the end of the webinar for these designs on the website, and then you'll have them for free. But more importantly, the reason why you're here is I'm going to teach you how to make these designs, and it's a pretty simple process. There's a couple different things in it that you can't see when you look at the design here that I did just to make it a little bit different, but I'm going to show you all of it. So obviously we did some rotates, we did some welding, we did some outlines and some contours, some text to paths, a couple of different things, but just to make it look a little bit better and make it stand out and kind of be more of an original design, okay? So one thing I do want to do before we get started here is just kind of get an idea of who we have in here and what you currently use for design software. So it looks like people are still piling in now. We are little, I think we had over 260 register for the webinar, so I'm sure we're going to have a packed house here. I got Rudy on the other end over here that's going to be answering questions as well. So any of you that have, real quick question, how many of you have never been to one of our webinars before? Is there anybody that's brand new to our live free webinars? And hopefully, because that's what, awesome, we got a lot of you that are new. Very cool. So what I like to do with the live webinars is the whole point of them is to teach you how to make the design. So yes, we have over 5,000 downloadable files on the website that you can just purchase. They're all color separated for you, whether they're rhinestones, whether they're heat transfer vinyl, vectors for decal designs, any of that those different things. But we want to obviously teach you how to make those designs as well so you can do custom stuff for customers. And we want you purchased the TRW Stone Wizard, we want you to have the knowledge to be able to create what you want with the wizard as well. So just to give you a quick heads up, you may hear some banging on the walls and different things. We are obviously under construction here at the new warehouse. So we may have some noise in the background, some drilling, some painting, things like that, but don't worry about that. It's not going to stop us from doing some webinars and helping you guys out as much as possible. So any of you that have questions, make sure to type in the questions box here, and just I'll see some of them, and if it's referring to what I'm actually doing in the design part, I'll go over it. I'm going to go over things a few times. Now, just to let you know, we are recording this webinar as well, so you don't have to get everything in every step right here. I will go through it slow to teach you it, but we will put a recording up. It'll probably be up, normally it's up within about 48 hours. So we will get a full recording of this webinar up onto our YouTube channel and everything for you guys to be able to watch later and pause it and go through step by step to be able to create your design as well. So obviously we're doing something with St. Patty's Day here and Irish type stuff, but you can use the concepts that we are going to teach you here and use in anything you want. So it's completely up to your imagination, okay? So two real quick questions I want to do with the poll just to get an idea is, first one I'm going to launch here, do you currently own the TRW Stone Wizard? So yes if you do, not yet, or you hope to soon. Andrea had a question on a upgrade for the wizard. Andrea, we were looking at releasing the 3.0. We did run into some issues and some different glitches with it when we were doing our testing on our end. So we're getting those fixed, and we actually thought of some new features to add on. So it will be soon. I'm not sure an exact date yet, but we will be coming out with a paid upgrade of the 3.0, which will be a ton of new features. Now, many of you are already seeing that I have the Wizard 2.15 here on my computer. That's something there's a pretty cool feature that we created that's going to do some different things, and you'll see down and I don't even have the newest version of it on here, but it is going to be creating some different things with some cool envelope type stuff that we are probably going to release that for free here in probably the next week. And that'll be just a free update. It's something that we think is going to help you guys a lot, and that you may not want to wait until the 3.0 for. So let me go ahead and close this poll down. We got everybody voted. We've got about 70% of you that already own the Wizard. That's awesome. We appreciate that. And then the next one is, do you currently own Corel Draw? And if you do, which version? So X6 usually is the most popular here, because a lot of us are somewhat new, or they upgraded the X6, may not have upgraded the X7 yet, and then obviously some of you may not currently own the Wizard yet, or sorry, Corel Draw yet. So I'm seeing about 13% of you are X5, about 62% are X6, 14% X7, and about 10% of you currently do not own Corel Draw. Awesome. Just some information for us to be able to kind of see what we have here, newbies, everything like that. Very cool. So who's ready to go ahead and get started and create some of these designs? So I'm going to create basically these exact same designs just to show you exactly how I got to it, because you can see there's a couple different rotations in here. There's a couple different contours. There's the text to path that you're going to see over here. Underneath here, weeding this out and doing another contour out there to show it up and make it pop a little bit more. But again, like I was saying, you can do this with any of your sports teams. You can do it with any of your church groups. You can do it with any organizations, anything like that. It's just a matter of kind of getting creative and doing what you can. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to go back to right here. So this is the actual vector versions that I created. So as you can see, I have everything welded out and everything on this. So I'm going to move this off to the side here. Just to give you an idea of the font that I used, the font that I used up here at the top, you can see it's Black Castle MF. Okay? So I know a lot of you will probably ask, what font is it that you're using? This one is Black Castle MF. So again, a lot of you have 1,000, 2,000 different fonts. You can completely change fonts to whatever you want, whatever you like, depending on the design, and use the same features that we're doing. So this is a font. Obviously, it's a typable font, so I can type out whatever I want. And this right here is just a clover, and obviously a 4-leaf clover, but you can see when I zoom in, it's an actual JPEG or Bitmap or PNG or whatever it is, okay? So obviously, what do we need to do? And those of you who are new, I like to ask questions. I like you guys to let me know what to do, because that's what I feel like kind of gets you thinking throughout the design instead of just watching me do it. So we have our clover here. What do we want to do with this? There we go. A lot of you already know. Good. How can you tell it's a JPEG? We had a question. I can tell because, for example, when I go to wireframe, I can see that it doesn't have the cut lines. It just has the square around it. So that's one easy way to tell. Also, when I zoom in, I can see it's pixelated, and that's also how I know that it's going to be a JPEG or PNG, anything like that. The font, I'm not sure exactly where I got this font. It might be on... There's a website called Dafont, D-A-F-O-N-T, dafont.com. So that's a pretty cool one there that may be able, it may be on there, or, oh, just got it on Dafont, Ann said. Thank you, Ann. So dafont.com is where this this actual font is. So a lot of you answered already, and you said trace bitmap, and that is completely correct. So to trace the bitmap, I'm going to come up here in Corel Draw, and I'm working in Corel Draw X7 here in the TRW Stone Wizard. I'm just going to come up here, hit Trace Bitmap. It's a pretty simple design, so I could just do a quick trace, and if I do a quick trace, it's going to run through it, and it created a copy of that. So I can get rid of, and I'll show you, when I zoom in here, see how this one's all pixelated, the original, and this one is not? This is now our vector design, okay? So let's go ahead and delete that original one. And now I can see if, okay, the way that I trace that is it is completely done and ready to go. So if I double click on it, I can kind of look at the nodes real quick, make sure there's nothing crazy going on. For example, if it were way off like this, I would probably go in and delete that node. So all I did was double click on it, and that allowed me to edit the nodes there, okay? So I have my vector design, and you can see when I go to my wireframe, you can see the actual path. And you can also look at it here and just make sure everything's nice and smooth, which it is, okay? So everybody's with me right now as far as creating the vector path for the clover. Again, depending on how complex the design is, it isn't necessarily going to trace this easy every time. This is a very basic little clover that's it's close enough for us to be perfectly fine with it, okay? When I quick trace, it keeps a square around it. No worries. If that happens, you can just ungroup it. So ungroup, and then you can just delete the square that's around it. All right, so now what we have is our Irish design here, okay? So what I like to do with this a lot is, depending on, some fonts are weird, some fonts are completely different. So let's say, you know what, do you guys want to create a custom one instead of one of these two? And then you get maybe we'll do a third design for free. So who's got the catchiest phrase? Someone give you the catchiest phrase, and Rudy is going to vote. It's got to be somewhat short, like something like this. So go ahead and type in whatever you guys think, and we'll see if we can do something custom here. So this way, it'll kind of give you an idea of, if you have a customer that wants something, how you can create it. So go ahead and type in the questions, some type of catchy Irish. I got a "I'm magically delicious." Everyone loves an Irish girl. Kiss me like you mean it. Still not Irish, who cares? Irish charmer. What do we got, Rudy? Rudy's going to vote on it here, and he's going to come in and let me know. Irish charmer one's pretty cool. Irish, I were drinking. How about that? Connie, I like it. I like the humor. Let's go with that one. All right, Rudy came in and said, I wish I were drinking. So I guess Rudy wishes he were drinking right now instead of being in a webinar. So we got our Irish here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to duplicate this. So I just duplicated this right here. And just to let you know, I like the humor there. So I will show you another one that we created that we thought was pretty funny as well later on in the webinar here. So Irish, and then I were drinking. So just to let you know, any steps that I do, I like to tell you guys. And thank you, Chris, for reminding me. So to duplicate this, I just left click, I drag it down, and then while I'm holding my left click button, I right click, and a little plus came up. So it duplicated it, and then I just let go, and that made a copy of it. Okay? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to type out drinking. Okay? Now we need to get the drinking size right, obviously, but it's a little bit too much spacing in there for me. So I'm going to go to my text spacing. I'm going to tighten that up a little bit, but see what my R is doing? No worries, we can fix that. So I'm going to tighten up the drinking a little bit here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight those two squares. I'm going to hold Control and drag the R over a tiny bit. Okay? So I just didn't want that all up into the I like that. And same thing with the D right here. I'm going to click off of it, click on this square, and drag the D over a tiny bit. Okay, does everybody see how I did that? Because I could grab any one of these boxes. So this is my font. I click on text spacing, and then the little nodes will come up. So if I wanted to, I could pull the I down here if I wanted. Okay? So you can completely customize any of your fonts and text like this, which is a pretty cool feature. So I got drinking done now. So let's go ahead and get drinking to about the size that we want. So let's say we'll go with about 9.8 inches, somewhere in that range. So we got drinking, we got Irish, and now we need to find a good place to put I were. Okay? I think that's what we said, right? Let me see here real quick. Was that correct? I think it was Connie. Yep. So I were. So let me go ahead and do I were. Okay, now I'm going to shrink this down. Now again, it's not necessarily always going to look good if you just do the basic that everybody would expect. So if I wanted to, I could do this, I could do this, I could line them all up, and that doesn't really look great to me. You know, it doesn't kind of stand out. It doesn't really look like any type of design. It doesn't look like you spent any time on it. Yes, we could cut this on a shirt, cut this on our heat transfer vinyl in a vinyl cutter right now and be completely done with it. But again, we like to be a little bit creative and do stuff like this so the design looks a little better, obviously, right? So let's go ahead and do that. So I want a little bit smaller. So we can do a couple different ways, and I'll do a couple different options to show you guys and then let you guys decide. So I were right here. I'm going to tighten that up a little bit, and then I'm going to get the I a little bit closer to the W, all right? So if I want the I a little bit closer to the W, does anybody remember how I just did that? I click on the actual text, and how do I just slide the I over? Exactly, yep. So we got a couple of you already all over. I can just click on text spacing and then just move the node. So I just move that over a tiny bit there, and I got the I were. Now, let me go ahead and duplicate all of this just so we can make a couple versions. And I'm going to do the I were up at the top right here. I'm going to rotate 90 degrees and hit enter. So I could put this rotated on the side right here if I want. Actually kind of fits pretty cool inside the H right there. And then I could throw the drinking right under there. And let's see what happens if I rotate now I'm looking at this, and I'm just thinking in advance before I actually do it. My area right there isn't very thick. It isn't going to stand out a whole lot. So just to make it the four-leaf clover basically stand out a little bit more, what I'll do is I'm going to go to place and fill, and I'm going to do one island to the inside, and let's do like a 0.5 spacing. That's going to be way too big. So see how far that went inside? But if I did a 0.05 to the inside, see how that did an island to the inside, okay? And the only reason why I did that is I'm going to delete the green one. I'll turn this green now, and see how there's more of a, it kind of stands out a little bit more as far as the four-leaf clover. So it's going to make it a lot easier to kind of tell what it is and give it a little bit more definition. All right, so we can grab our clover here, and let's go ahead and enlarge our clover a little bit. And is this all the texture we want? Do we want anything at the bottom of it? Oh, let me show you what I did there. I'm so used to doing it, I forget to tell you. So see how my Irish, these are just basically different layers. So I have my Irish, I have my I were, and I have my drinking. I want my clover to go to the very back, okay? So to do that, I just click on my clover and hit to back, and now that went to the very back. All right? Now I have my clover here. Let's enlarge this a little bit. And I would say right there, we're probably pretty good. Do you guys like the layout of where the I were is? I mean, simple to read, but again, gives a little bit better look than something basic like this right here. So that anybody could do, but I think this is going to look pretty cool once we do it, okay? So now there's a couple different steps we need to do once we get to this point. Move to the right, move the clover to the right a little bit. I see a couple different little things. 3, 4, and oh, the I were. Okay, yeah, I'll give two different looks here. Now, let me show you real quick. It is going to jump out a little bit more, so let me show you that. So first thing I'm going to do is these are still all true type fonts or typable fonts, okay? So that means I can obviously still type in there. Well, we need to go ahead and convert these to curves real quick. So to convert it to curves, I'm just going to click on it. And right here in our TRW shortcut, I can convert to curves, okay? So I can just click on each of them, click on I were, shift click on drinking, and convert them to curves. So now all of these are not editable true type fonts. So if I double click it, you can see all of my nodes there, all right? Well, what I want to do now is I'm going to click on each of these, and to click on multiples, I'm holding down shift. So click on one, hold shift, click, and click. And you'll see I have all three of my, basically the wording there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to place and fill, and in place and fill, I'm going to do a contour spacing to the outside at one island. And watch what that does. If I go island fill there, see how it created a contour to the outside? All right. So when I zoom in here, you can see exactly what it did, but it's a whole different layer. So see how those are completely different layers? So everything's still basically its own right now. Well, what I would do to make it a little bit easier, I like to save clicks. So see these here, how they're kind of overlapping a little bit, stuff like that. I'm going to hit Control-Z to go back. And now what I'm going to do is I converted them to curves. And again, we're recording it, so you'll be able to go through step by step. But I got the Irish. How do I select multiples of the were and the drinking? Who's got it for me? Who's the first one to let me know? If I want to select all three of those, Dawn's got it, Connie's got it, awesome. Hold shift, I were, and drinking. So I have all three of those. And I can combine them, or I can actually even weld if I want. So I just welded them, and now that's basically one object. All right? So that's one object. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do my island fill at 0.05. And what it does now is it's just going to save me some clicks. So it automatically welded those together, and it's still separate, but it's all the black, all the white, and then all the green. So Control-Z is to go back 3 steps. Anytime you see me move something and it goes back automatically, it's because I'm hitting Control-Z as in zebra. So now all I want to do, very simple, I'm going to click on the white, shift click to the green. So I only have the white and green. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to hit this little button here, the trim button, and I'll take this white and delete it. And there we go. So that is basically completely done right now. Now what I would do is I think about my weeding process, okay? So I want to think about when I cut this design out, what am I going to have to weed and what is going to be a pain to actually weed? So when I zoom in here, who in here that's done heat transfer vinyl with glitter or Easyweed or anything wants to weed that little sliver right there, that little sliver right there? Probably none of you. I know I don't want it. But the thing is you're not going to see that on the shirt anyway. It's not going to make a difference. Your customer would never know. So always just do a spot check on your designs after you do it. See that little spot right there? Pointless. Why have your cutter cut that? And why worry about weeding it? So how would I get rid of just those little areas? Anybody know for me? So I just want to delete like this area, this area, this area. Exactly. Mary Alice has got it. Delete the nodes. Okay, so how do I pull up the nodes again to get into that mode where I can delete those nodes? A couple of different ways to do it. There you go. Kate's got it, Ann's got it, Kim's got it. Just double click on whatever color you want. So see, the green is what we want to get rid of a little bit. So I'm going to double click there, And then I'm just going to get rid of these nodes. So I'm going to highlight all of those and delete it. Got rid of all that area. And let's move over to this little spot right there and delete it. And then I got a couple tiny little spots right there. A little one right here. And this one will actually keep there. That's probably big enough to weed there and not have an issue. That's probably actually big enough there as well. And I would say we could call it a day with this. So what do you think? Looks pretty cool, right? Can't see any difference with what's missing right there. You can still easily tell it's a clover. Paul had a question. Looks awesome. How do we get the macro? Paul, our TRW Stone Wizard is compatible with CorelDRAW X5, X6, and X7. So it's not just for rhinestones. It's also for heat transfer vinyl. That's why we like to show you designs like this. But it's available on our website at rhinestoneworld.com under the software section. I can show you guys at the end of the webinar here as well. Okay? So I wish I were drinking. Is that hard for anybody else to say? I feel like I'm mumbling it when I say Irish. I think it's because I want to say I wish. So, all right. Awesome looking design here. Let's get rid of this one. Now the coolest thing obviously about the wizard is let's see the two differences of these designs. Well, one thing that's awesome about the wizard is we can show someone exactly what this looks like. So let's say we want to create the green here in our green grass glitter and the black in our black glitter. And I'm going to show you a little shortcut and pretty cool thing here as well. So I'm going to click on my green, go to Magic Vinyl, go to Green Grass Glitter, and bam, there's our glitter look. Go to my black, and I'm going to go, if we wanted to do silver glitter, we could do silver glitter, but we're going to do black glitter. Now, how many of you before that have had the wizard, it all depends on the way you set up your design. So how many of you before, and it's probably happened, have created a mock-up and the glitter may look a little distorted on you? Anybody here? Just depending on the size you create the design, everything else. Yes, awesome. So do you guys want a pretty cool shortcut to fix that in a couple seconds to make it look awesome? I see a lot more yeses coming through. Okay, so this still looks cool, especially from out here. Still looks like glitter, but I want to make it look better. I don't want to have that kind of pixelated look right there. So what you can do is if you come over here, there's a tool that's called the Interactive Fill tool. If I click on Interactive Fill, it's going to pull up a box. Well, watch this. Grab the corner of that box, shrink that box down, and check that out. See the difference? If I enlarge that box, it's going to distort it a little bit, make it bigger. If I shrink that box, it's going to give a sweet looking glitter look right there. So even the black right here. So we're on the interactive fill, click on the black, it'll give me a new box, shrink that box down, and now look at my glitter. Doesn't it look a lot better? So very, very simple and easy fix for that is over here on the left-hand side, your interactive fill tool. Click on whichever one you want to fix. It'll pull up the box, shrink that box down, and there you go. All right? So I want to show you the differences of a basic design and our design. So let's get this sized right. And I'm going to go 7, probably 8 inches there. And boom, we're going to make this one probably about 9.7 inches wide here. So we got our Irish I were drinking and Irish I were drinking, but a very basic one. And show you what the difference is. So highlight this design here, go to our mock-ups. We want to do a front design on the Irish I were drinking. I want to go ahead and add my logo. So logo's there. I want to do a front design on, let's say, a tank top. I click on this tank top right here. It's going to run through it for me. And whatever design I have highlighted is what it's going to create. Let's change this to a black background, and there's that design right there. So yeah, it's funny, it's cool, but it doesn't look that great. So if I go back to page 1 and create the cool looking design that we just made, I can go to the same thing, logo, and same title, front design on the same tank top. And that gray is because the gray I have right here. So that's, I changed my background color there. I can just change that back to black. But if I wanted that to be black there, now check it out. Which shirt would you buy? Obviously, I know I would purchase this shirt way over this shirt here. So again, just adding a couple different things with rotating the text, doing kind of a little punch-out design, and giving it kind of that effect to where it looks like, and the cool thing about this, obviously, is we can change this to anything we want. So if we want to change the color of this to yellow or anything we want, we can change the color right here in the wizard, of course. So pretty cool looking, something that you guys feel like you could sell to different customers, especially, and again, doesn't necessarily have to be an Irish design like this. It could be anything. So something that's pretty cool, and I'll get this design here uploaded onto the website as well for the coupon code that I'm going to give you. So you'll get all 3 of the designs, and actually you'll get 4 designs. So let me show you. I'm going to pull over. I didn't want to put this one on the actual website. We didn't want to obviously offend anybody. I don't think it's too bad, but this is the one we were going to do. So I know a lot of you will obviously get a laugh out of this one, but again, this one is also a freebie as well. So if you live in a college town, something like that, this is going to be a free design that you're going to get. So you're actually going to get 4 different designs. But pretty cool looking. Obviously, you can do this with anything, whether it's a sports team, whether it's, like I said, an organization, a church group, a school, any type of logos, any type of holiday, anything else, okay? So I know that we normally, with the different webinars, we always have a ton of questions. So what I want to do is I want to answer kind of any questions that we have on this, and I wanted to leave a good amount of time. So we still have about 25 minutes here, but I wanted to leave a good amount of time because normally we run our webinars a little bit long, but unfortunately today I have to bring my son to practice, so I have to be out of here by 4:05. So I actually have to, in the webinar when we said we're going to end it for the first time ever. But I do want to be able to answer all the questions that everybody has on this and get you the free designs as well. Oh, we did have an awesome question that just came in right here that said, okay, I'm ready to cut this design right now. How do I cut it in your software? So very easy to do, and I'll show you how easy we make that. So I have my design that we just created. Obviously, we have our green and we have our black. So it's 2 separate vinyl cuts. So let's just say, color doesn't matter, but we could change that to green, that to the black. To cut this with our heat transfer vinyl, what do we want to do? What's the one thing we need to make sure to do that before we actually cut this on the heat transfer vinyl? Exactly. Everybody knows, mirror it. Okay? So what we would normally do is we would come here and we would color separate it, or we would do something like this, and then we would go over, we would mirror it, everything else. What we can do in the wizard, we can highlight the design, go to our magic templates, and then I can just come over here, the TRW magic templates, and right click it. So when I right click it, what it's going to do is automatically color separate it and mirror it for me, ready to send to our cutter. Okay, so it's a 1-click. Right click is automatically going to mirror it, and then if I were to left click, that's just going to color separate it. But hey, why not do it all in one step, and you can right click and it's going to mirror the heat transfer vinyl for you automatically. Now I know also some of you, depending on which vinyl cutter you have, you may want to actually do a double cut. So maybe you're using a holographic or a glitter and you want to decrease the downforce on your cutter a little bit, and you want to actually go ahead and do a double cut. Well, to do that, again, we made it easy. Highlight, vinyl double cut, right click on vinyl double cut, and there it is. It's mirrored and it's going to double cut for you. So again, with all of our magic templates, we want to make it as easy as possible for all of you to not have to go through all those extra steps and spend time on stuff that you don't need to, hey, if I can do one click and it's done, then let's do it. Okay. I do have a question here. When I right-click on an outline, it won't change to glitter. Left-click works, but right-click. Diane, what right-click does, and I can show you. Let me pull this off to the side here. Right-click is just going to create basically kind of like a stroke outline. So watch. If I right-click on whatever color, on this color, see how it creates that blue? Anytime right-click is an outline, so that's what it's actually doing when you right-click. Left-click is the fill. Okay, see the difference? I'm going to right-click on purple, and it changes that to purple. Now, if I want to get rid of that, right-click on X, and it gets rid of it. Okay, so that's why the right-click isn't doing it. You always want to left-click as a fill, right-click as an outline. All right? Had a question with the four. Okay, Tom had a great question. Can you do a one click for the clover to be smaller? So what we would do, obviously, if we had this design, what our templates will do is they're automatically going to make the boxes the same size because it wants to do it for rhinestones. So if we're cutting this for heat transfer vinyl, we don't want to cut this extra material that we don't need to. So what I would do is just real quick, drag it over, and we would only have to cut this. Okay, so just a quick drag over, but it always creates the exact same size boxes because if you're using rhinestones in the sticky flock template material, you want the boxes the same because that's creating your registration points to be able to layer the boxes on top of each other for multiple color designs. But great question, Tom. But it will not, Diane said, but it will change it to glitter, not a color. Okay, Diane, what are you trying to do that's changing it to glitter? Are you in the wizard and clicking on magic vinyl for it? You were trying to show a customer inside and outline in glitter, and it won't make the outline glitter. Okay, so what you want to do with that, Diane, I think I know what you're saying. You want to convert that outline to curves or create a path. So just to give you a quick idea of what I mean by that, if I just went to place and fill and created a quick path around the outside of this, and let's just say that path is blue, okay? If I wanted the green to be glitter, I would just left click and change that to glitter. If I wanted blue to be glitter, I would left click and change that to glitter. But they're completely separate paths. So that may be where your issue is you're just creating basically like a stroke outline, and that's why it's not showing the glitter. So if you convert that outline to an object, then you should be able to do it, and that should fix it for you. Okay? We had a question here as far as something with rhinestones, and that's exactly what I was just getting ready to show you, Monty. So if we wanted to do something with stones as well, we could do that. So what I'm going to do is let me find a design here, and I'm going to just go a bunch of steps back, okay? So I'm going to pull this design over to another page and give you an idea of something you could do possibly with stones as well. And haven't even tried it, but I'll kind of do it on the fly here, and it's actually good to see if it works with something like this design. So I'm just going to hold down Control-Z, and we're going to go a bunch of steps back right here. So you can see how far it's going back. Hopefully I don't go back so far. Okay, there we go. So we have our actual, what is this guy called? The clover design. So with our clover right here, what I want to do is I want to create, we had the question as far as possibly doing some stones in the design as well with different rhinestones. So as you know, we have many webinars that are focused on just rhinestones, just heat transfer vinyl, and a mixture of rhinestones and heat transfer vinyl. So what I could do with this, if I wanted to, is I could do something like this and do a multi-deck design. So I'm going to go to my place and fill, and I'm going to do one island to the outside at 0.075. All right? So I'm going to go island fill, and that's going to create that island for me. Let me make sure my design's the right size. Actually, let me get it sized, because anytime we're working with rhinestones, we want to make sure to get it to the size that we want before we get crazy and creating, because we won't be able to adjust that as easy once it's a stone design. So I'm at about 9.5. So I'm going to go my actual clover here, 0.075 and island fill, and then I'm actually going to do a second island fill around it. All right? So, and I didn't necessarily have to do that, but I'm going to show you what I'm actually doing here. So what I'm going to do, and I'm going to see if this could actually work. It's a good tester for us. So this island right here, I actually won't even need this island if I do it this way. And I'm going to go ahead and add some stones to this. So I got SS10s and TRW blue, that's fine. I can do a corner detect and add stones to the path. So there you can see it adds stones to the path perfectly for me, okay? But obviously we have some overlaps and everything else. So let's just see what we can do here. I'm going to come in here and clear my paths. Then I'm going to click on my blue. I'm going to select the same color, and let's go ahead and merge any of my overlaps real quick, okay? Now what I'm also going to do is, let's see, ooh, actually, I know how I can do this. Let me go back one step. So let's go ahead and add stones to path. And then we're going to clear the path so the stones are there. Now check this out. If we were to go here to there and those stones around, okay, now I'm going to create, just like we did before, the path around this because we want to hollow out our actual clover. So let's go click here, shift click, weld those together so the black is all one now. And we're going to do a 0.05 island fill to the outside. Okay, so there we go there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to click on the white and the green again, just like we did before. We're going to trim that out and get rid of the white. So we have it all trimmed out. It's basically all the same that it was before, except now we have some stones around it. Now what we're also going to do is I want to make sure that all of my stones, any of the overlaps are gone. So I'm going to select one of them, select same color, and let's go ahead and merge my overlaps. So that got rid of all overlaps. I can get rid of this path here. I'm not going to need that one. Now, as you can see, when I go to wireframe, there's still a bunch of stones back behind there. I think what we should be able to do is if I clicked on all of the blue, and let's click on one of the blue, select same color, and then shift click to the black. So as you can see, I have the blue and black now. And then let's just try this and see what happens. I'm going to do a mark bottom layer overlap. So see how anything that was touching the text of the stones turned red? So if I move those out of the way and delete them, then it's only going to have the stones in the areas that weren't being overlapped. So I would say, I mean, it doesn't look horrible, but honestly, we probably, because of the way that we made this design, I mean, it gives you a good idea of how to do that, but because the way we made this design, I think it kind of has some random stones in there where it doesn't really flow as good as I would like it to. I mean, we could maybe delete some of the ones on the inside there, maybe get rid of those and do something like that. But again, it's going to save you a lot of time, and it's going to be a whole lot easier than doing them one at a time. But it's still going to add a little bit to the actual design if you wanted to. And you wouldn't really be able to. We did have a question as far as could you put the stones around the text. Hypothetically, yes, you could, but it's not going to look good because the text is so small. there's no way. I mean, just look at, if I moved one SS10 stone over there, you can see it's not going to be very detailed. It's not going to look very good. So that I probably would not recommend. But if you just wanted to add a little accent of rhinestones in it that kind of show that it's surrounding the clover a little bit, you could easily do something like this. And then if I wanted to, I could come over here and select same color, change those to crystal stones, change this to a, let's go magic vinyl, and we could do green grass glitter, and this is going to be a black silver. Highlight the design, come over here to my design prep. I can simulate stones, add logo, add watermark, add background, and we can make it a black background. And go ahead and hit add. And what that's going to do is it's just going to create us a quick little mock-up there that gets us the stone simulation. But you can see right there it's still going to have these stones because of what's back behind. Okay, so that's where you have to kind of weld out those different ones. So even though we didn't see that right there, and this is great for you guys to learn because I didn't even see it back behind there as I was doing it, watch this. When I move this, oh, let me change the stones back to a color that we can see real quick. So boom. When I move this, see how there's still stones back behind there? Did anybody see those back there? Well, I didn't see them back there, and I didn't do what I teach you guys to try and do every time, is go behind the scenes and look. If I would have gone behind the scenes, look at that. We can see all those stones there. Well, your vinyl cutter is going to cut those stones. So my guess is to do a quick fix on that. You can see all of the stones that are back behind this H right here. See them all right there? Quick fix on something like that. Let's select all of the blue stones, shift-click to my text there, so I have all the blue stones and my text. And let's see if this works. If I went here and clicked on my trim button, that's going to trim it back this way because I selected the blue stones first. So it did it the opposite. So it actually created holes in my text. Where if I click this, select same color, now I'm going to group my stones together. I'm going to click on the text first, then shift-click to the blue, now hit trim, and now they're all gone. Okay, does everybody see how I did that? So now all of those are gone because I trimmed them back behind. It had all the overlapping ones which were touching line to line, but it wasn't seeing the ones that were directly behind it. So what I did is I just clicked on it, shift-click to my stones, trimmed them out. Now when I go behind the scenes, you can see there's no stones back behind there anymore. Okay, does that make sense to everybody? And I know I went over a lot of different things in the webinar here and a lot of maybe new things that you haven't seen before. But again, that's why we record all of the webinars, is I want you to be able to actually go in and see exactly how I'm doing it. And the overlap, what that overlap was looking for there, Anne, is the overlap is looking for the actual path overlapping something. So technically, since those stones weren't touching paths, like when the stones are overlapping, it wasn't seeing it as an overlap with that vector part of the design to the stone. So that's why they were hidden back behind there. Where normally if it's a stone overlap, it would be like this, and it sees path to path and marks it or merges it. Does that make sense? Perfect. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to get this other design up there as well. So I'm going to make sure that we get the Irish I Were Drinking design, as well as the I'm not Irish, but I'm still a cutie, as well as I'm not Irish, but you're hot, and then also our little hidden design of you're Irish, I'm drunk, sounds like fun. So we'll get all four of those designs up completely free for you. And one thing that I always ask, obviously, with every webinar, and before you guys leave, I still got to give you the coupon code because these actual designs on our website are going to be $10. But for all of you that attended the webinar, live here with us, it's going to be a free design for the next, we'll do the next 3 hours. We'll give you some time. So this coupon code will be active for the next 3 hours, and you'll be able to go on the website and actually download these designs right on the website. And I'm going to pull over to the website here, and let me show you where they are, just so you know. If you go to Shop Product and then Deals, so I just went Shop Product, Deals, and then the Daily Deals, and you're going to see it right here. So it's only showing the 3 right here, but we just made a custom one, and I will give you all 4 because I'm cool like that, and you guys are cool as well. So you get 4 designs today. But as I always ask, is there at least one thing in the webinar today that you guys learned, whether it was one click or one step of doing something that you feel like is going to help you in your designing? Again, yes, we have these designs available on the website for purchase. You guys are going to get them for free because you came and hung out with me, but I like to teach you guys how to create the designs as well, because if you know how to create it, someone's going to come into your storefront or email you or your website or whatever it is and say, I want a design like this, but I want to change the wording around a little bit. Well, that's not always that easy. Now, hopefully, you have the tools with Corel Draw and the TRW Stone Wizard and our tutorials and webinars to be able to create that awesome design, make that customer happy, sell a shirt, and obviously what we all want to do, make some money, all right? So what I'm going to do now is I am going to give you the actual coupon code here. So the coupon code to go on the website and get these designs for free is IRISHCUTIE10. So please don't go share this on the Facebook pages and everything, because I want to reward everybody that comes to the webinar. Any of you that are watching this webinar in the future, this coupon code is no longer active. So it was just for, and we had an awesome showing here, 236 of you in here today, so I appreciate all of you taking time out of your day to come here. But Irish Cutie 10, go to the website in the next 3 hours, 4 o'clock here, so 7 o'clock Eastern time, you have till to get these designs for free. If you go right now, that 4th design is not up there yet, okay? But just go on there, get it for free now. We'll get the new design that we created custom here in the webinar. We'll get that uploaded, and then you can just go back later, and that 4th design will be on there as well. So go grab it now if you're on the computer and you have time, and then you can always, once you've purchased it, we'll update the file, so a new file will be on that order, and then you'll be able to get that 4th file whenever you want, whether it's tomorrow or next year. So completely up to you, all right? So we do have, just to let you know, we have one of our TRW lounges on Friday. So Friday, the TRW lounge, we're going to be giving away some free J America glitter shirts and sweatshirts at that TRW lounge. So make sure you go to the lounge. We do have a few different trade shows coming up. We leave next Thursday for anybody in the Columbus, Ohio area. So Columbus, Ohio, I actually have a seminar, a 90-minute class in Columbus that I'll be teaching at the Columbus is the Embroidery Mart show. So Columbus, Ohio, we will be there Friday and Saturday. And after that, we have the NBM Orlando show right in our backyard. Anybody NBM Orlando, to register for the class, just go to the Embroidery Mart website, and you should be able to register for the class there, Kim. Same thing with the Orlando NBM show. Go to the NBM show website. We have 2 classes at the NBM show. So 2 separate classes the first 2 days of the show. Those classes at the NBM show are free of charge if you register ahead of time, so make sure to register ahead of time. And then I actually leave the NBM Orlando show 1 day early because I have to fly out to Kansas City to teach a class in Kansas City on Friday. So, or Friday or Saturday, I'm not even sure. I'm all over the place this month. So definitely check them out. And the Kansas City show, we have a training at the Kansas City show as well. So I see Shelly, you're going to be in KC. We do have a class in the Kansas City show as well at the DAC show that you can register for. Christy, did I not post the pictures for the ASI Dallas show yet? Oh, you know what, Christy? I posted them on our on the TRW app. So we'll get those posted on the Facebook page. That's my fault. I posted them all on the app. But just to let you know, all of you guys and ladies that do come to the trade shows, we are going to start doing something cool at the trade shows. Does everybody here, please say yes, does everybody here have the TRW app? Everybody has the app for the Android and the iPhone, and it's pretty cool. You can shop on it. You can watch all the tutorial videos. You can watch the webinars on the iPads and the Android phones. It's free of charge, and we have a ton of training on it, ton of different giveaways and auctions and everything. We also can do push notifications, so you'll never miss a deal. If we're running a big sale, we can send you a push notification for it and let you know that we're doing a big deal. But at the different trade shows, we're going to start giving away some rhinestone lanyards and rhinestone keychains and rhinestone headbands free of charge if you come to the booth, take a picture with one of the TRW crew members, and post it onto the app. It's pretty cool. So if you're at the Columbus show, you can, even if you go, those of you who have the app, go to the app and go to the ASI Dallas show. It'll be under past shows. And if you go to the ASI Dallas show, you can actually comment. You can say that you're coming to the actual show. You can leave a comment saying, hey, anybody else coming? We can meet up, things like that. You can also post a picture. And if you post a picture at the show, show us the picture on the app. We'll give you something free. So we want to get everybody to get to know each other, the TRW crew. We want to meet all of you. Come get some pictures for Facebook, for the app and everything, and we'll give you some free stuff. So it'll be pretty cool. So we almost have trainings almost in every show that we go to now. So we always have the in-booth trainings and almost every show with the actual seminars as well. We actually start our ISS seminars at the ISS Nashville show. So we'll have Nashville, we'll have Orlando, we'll have Dallas, Fort Worth, and a bunch of awesome trainings coming up. Let's see. We do have a couple questions. I have the app, got the app now. Oh, sweet. So some of you didn't have the app and you got it now. Very cool, very cool. What are we doing for Orlando? Teresa, we will have a class at the ISS Orlando show as well. So I'm not sure if they have those listed on the website yet, but we will definitely get that onto our Facebook page and everything with the link anytime, as soon as they release those for you guys to be able to register, okay? All right, very, very cool. Well, 4 o'clock, it's time to go grab the son and hit baseball practice. Luckily, those of you who saw the images, he did not break his finger. It is only a bad jam, and he is being a tough kid and wants to go to practice today and try and do something. So I got to go pick him up and get to baseball practice, but I appreciate all of you coming to the webinar today. Again, had a ton of you in here, and I like to see the enthusiasm. I like to see that all of you want to learn the software. We love to teach the software to you. You purchase it, you're going to know how to use it. So we want to help your business, and like I always say, hey, the more successful you are, the more shirts and decals and everything that you sell, the more successful the Rhinestone World is as well. So thank you all again for coming. If you do have any questions at all, make sure to give us a call. The number is 941-755-1696. Make sure to sign up for that TRW Lounge on Friday. We'll be giving away some awesome shirts, but we look forward to hearing from you soon. This is Matt and Rudy with the rhinestoneworld.com, and you guys all have a wonderful day.